company was founded in the year 2000. And we're here today to learn a couple of things about the company, about Musa and his decision to start a company, and also a little bit about what it's like to work at Suria and what kind of people might be attracted to his great company. And with no further ado, thank you again, Musa, for making time in your busy schedule to meet up and chat a little bit.
Okay, thanks, Charles. Good morning, Charles and Zaidee. Hi. Let's go to the first question, which is why did I decide to open up or create this company? As you know, I started out my working career in investments initially. After graduating, I joined MNI, Malaysian National Insurance, as one of the analysts, and eventually became a fund manager. And during my time, as the first couple of years back then as an analyst, I was in charge of the automotive and the banking sector. As a student of the automotive industry in Malaysia, I graduated in the early 90s, and during that period we saw the best of times on the Malaysian stock market, and of course towards the end of the 90s, the worst of times of Malaysian stock market. So, and on that basis, when I was working as a fund manager, we saw that consolidations of banks and the country and being hit by George Soros during those days back in 98 brought our market virtually to a standstill. And yet, during those turbulent times, when banks all around you were closing down, I don't know whether you remember, we had Wang Bank and we had Wata Bank and all these other banks which are not around anymore today. Blood was on the streets virtually during those days. Our economic situation was very bad. But, surprise, surprise, the car market was still doing okay. So Proton and Produa sales were still climbing during the period of 97, 98, 99. And at that time, our stock markets was just nowhere to be found, basically. I did since I was in charge of the auto sector with regards to the companies listed on the stock exchange, trying to understand why is it that there is an anomaly that the automotive industry in Malaysia is not suffering as much as the other sectors in Malaysia during that time, and especially the banking sector during the financial crisis, the Asian financial crisis. And one of the points that we noted was the fact that Malaysia had a very positive, good and long-term policy with regards to the automotive manufacturing. And that was one of the government's core strategies to make sure that the generation of Malaysians coming out thereafter can benefit from the technology spin-offs coming from the automotive technology or automotive manufacturing in Malaysia. The engineers and the spin-offs of the subsectors coming from the car industry. Basically, building a car, you need to have more than 20,000 parts consisting of metal parts, plastic parts, rubber, you name it, all the electronic parts, fabrics, leather for the seats. So from having one particular industry, there were potential for other businesses to be able to tag on from that. And perhaps because of that, and because of the government policy of wanting to grow this automotive industry in Malaysia, and having, of course, we are the only country in Malaysia having only country in ASEAN, having the national car. So out of all the ASEAN countries, Malaysia was the only one having Proton and Proton at that time. And therefore the policies to make sure that these two national companies survive was put in place, and hence perhaps that was why the industry did not suffer as much as the other industries during the Asian financial crisis.
And attracted you as a potential...
That's right, because the PEs were great, they were still holding, the sales were up despite everybody was going down, so I thought that this was a good time to actually exit my financial background to go into industry.
Now, I'd like to go off script just for a real short bit here. And prior to, let's say in your student days and as a young man, were you working on cars?